It's Jennifer from Live, Laugh, Love to Read. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo. And I'm going to give this book, I'm going to say 3.8 stars. Not quite 4. Even though I enjoyed this book. But I found myself... You can see that this book is a chunker. Look how big it is. It's 532 pages. And normally I like a big book. Like, yeah. My issue with this book was that Claire Lombardo's writing style, very wordy. I know that sounds funny to describe a book as wordy, but her, like I said, her writing style is just very, very wordy. And I kind of feel like it could have been told in like 200 pages less, maybe. I don't know. It does span from the 1970s all the way to 2016. So, yeah, it needs to be long. But, like I said, I kind of found myself wishing it was over already. Even though I was enjoying it. Does that make sense? I don't know. But anyhow. Also, some of the words that she used were such big $5 words that I had to look up the definition. And I am a reader. I've read all my life. I'm a reader, so I know words, but a lot of them, I had to look up the meaning. Even though I knew the context of sometimes towards the middle and the end of the book, I was done looking up words. I just figured out by the context of the sentence. I just was like, okay, that sounds good enough to me. So I think that kind of bothered me, and it might not bother you, but it kind of did me. Anyhow, let me tell you what this book is about. It says, when Marilyn Connolly and David Sorensen fall in love in the 1970s, they are blithely ignorant of all that's to come. By 2016, their 4 radically different daughters are each in a state of unrest. Wendy, widowed young, soothes herself with booze and younger men. Yeah, she does. Let me read you a passage about Wendy. Let's see. Yeah, Wendy is very, let's see, blunt. She's very, I suspect that she has, I wouldn't say well, maybe she's bipolar. I don't know, but she has no filter. So here's a passage that her mother wrote in 1983. Marilyn, who's the mother, says she's beginning to think, more than think, theorize, that her elder daughter was a sociopath. She had too much time to think about it. She was, as one of the many parenting books that now line the built-in shelves purported, too close to the problem to have perspective. But who could judge if not she? She spent every day with the children, was awakened by them each morning and read to them until they fell asleep each night. And she loved those versions of her girls, the warm, sleepy, pajama-clad bodies that tucked themselves next to her at sunrise, breathing their sweet, stale breath into her neck. Querying about breakfast and telling her about their dreams, the drowsy, heavy heads trying to stay awake until the end, that lulled against her as she whispered lines of Dr. Seuss. She liked her children the best when they were sleeping, which perhaps was part of the problem, but she was fairly certain that a larger part of the problem was Wendy, whom she sometimes imagined sending to a boarding school that accommodated distressed preschoolers. So even at a young age, Wendy was a handful. Yeah, and she only became even more so. So here she says, earlier that day, she had denied Wendy's request for chocolate milk and then watched as Wendy sank into a ball in the middle of the kitchen floor. Her daughter hugged her knees and started making a strange, fiercely focused face. Her cheeks turned after several seconds bright red, and Marilyn realized she was holding her breath. So even as a toddler, she's quite a handful. So there's a little bit about Wendy. And I also have some more passages about Wendy, because I kind of liked Wendy, even though she was brass. She had no filter. But she told it like it was. I mean, hey. Yeah. So, the next daughter is Violet. A litigator turned stay-at-home mom. Battles anxiety and self-doubt when the darkest part of her past resurfaces. So, Violet is married to a man, and she has 2 young sons. But she also, and you find this out pretty early in the book, she had a son, and she gave him up for adoption when she was in college. And actually, in the very beginning of the book, he resurfaces. He's 16. His name's Jonah. And he basically has lived in foster care his whole life because the 2 people who adopted him as an infant died when he was like 4. Yeah. But anyway, he has resurfaced at 16 years old and now is being blended back into the family and starts to live with Wendy first. Yeah. As an adult. Because, we're fast forward. And this book does do that. It goes from the 1970s when David and Marilyn don't have children yet. It talks about that. It talks about when they're infants, when they're small children. Then as they're adults and they have children of their own and all the things that go with that and everything. But one other thing, I wasn't really lost in this book because the way she wrote it, I wasn't really lost, but you really have to pay attention because the way she jumps back and forth in time, because in the same chapter, paragraph to paragraph, she'll change from 1973 to 2013. So you really have to pay attention. Yeah. And the next one is Liza. A neurotic and newly tenured professor finds herself pregnant with a baby she's not sure she wants by a man she's not sure she loves. So, let me tell you about Violet. She is with Ryan. And Ryan has very, very deeply depressed. He's very depressed. And so basically Violet is, not Violet, Liza. Yeah, Liza. Is basically taking care of him too because she goes to work all day and then she comes home and she takes care of him. So let me just read you a little bit about Liza and Ryan. So it says, "I'm going to go to bed," he said when she got up. "I'm so tired. I'm really sorry, Liz." He was looking at her searchingly and she knew she had to say something, but all she could feel in that moment was resentment. Because she'd actually had to pee since noon, since her meeting with the dean, which had been followed immediately by a meeting with her department head, and then by an ill-planned sit-down with a student in her 324 class who was overwhelmed and overworked, and possibly abusing Adderall, judging by the twitch in his left eye. It was now 8:25 p.m., and she was at imminent risk of pissing her dean meeting cashmere pencil skirt, but she had to stop and take Ryan's head in her hands and kiss his salty, wet face. "Don't be sorry," she said. "It's okay. It's gonna be okay." His face darkened again, his eyes filled. "Fuck. I hate that I'm doing this to you." "It's okay, love. It's going to be fine." Her declarations became less eloquent as she focused on the agonizing pressure of the 38 gallons of urine trying to escape from her body. Ryan says, "I just don't know if I..." "Ryan, please, I have had to pee for like 8 hours." She hadn't meant to be harsh. He looked immediately wounded and she hated him then, for just a second. She started away from him in an awkward gallop. "Sweetheart, I love you. It's fine. Just give me 10 seconds, okay, to pee." So, basically, he's like another child because he's so deep in his depression that all he does, lay on the couch, sleep. You know, if you're depressed, you do these things. So she's trying to be nice, but she's getting fed up with him, basically. She does get pregnant by him, which you find out, and he ends up leaving. And that might be for the best. Yeah. So then it follows Grace, which is the youngest daughter. The dawdling youngest daughter begins living a lie that no one in her family even suspects. Beneath it all, the daughters share the lingering fear that they will never find a love quite like their parents. So Grace has told her whole family that she is in law school. And in actuality, she is not. So she lies to him for like a whole year. She lives in another state. So she lies to him for like a whole year. Yeah. So, spanning nearly half a century and set against the quintessential American backdrop of Chicago and its prospering suburbs, Lombardo's debut explores the triumphs and burdens of love, the fraught tethers of parenthood and sisterhood, and the baffling mixture of affection, resistance, and submission we feel for those closest to us. So, Marilyn and David are very affectionate in front of their children. They kiss, they hug. David pats Marilyn on the butt. You know, they're very affectionate. And what you find out, though, is the sisters kind of feel left out. They kind of feel like that the parents are kind of in their own little world, and they kind of feel like they'll never find anything like that. They feel like they have a relationship that is beyond and above what normal people would experience with love. You know, like that high threshold that they'll never meet. And so, in one part of the book, Wendy sees her parents making out on the couch, and this is what she says. She creeps downstairs to... She says she sees her parents on the couch. This was not kissing. This was something else. Something more. On the top step, she watches, frozen. Save for the ragged keening of her mother, steady and coarse. Like the rhythmic hiss of a long freight train, the house was quiet. Her father made a gasping noise. He was so much larger than her mom, so much taller and broader and darker, she almost looked like a doll pressed against him. Her mother had mounted him. That was most accurately disgusting word for it, and he was lying half down on the couch. The couch where they sometimes watched Seinfeld together as a family. So she sees her parents doing it, basically. And for Wendy, she already has a lot of issues anyway, and so that kind of scars her a little bit. But anyway, this book, what can I say? Like I said, I'm going to give it about 3.8 stars, and I would recommend it. It was good. I enjoyed it. I read the whole thing. But like I said, getting towards the end, I was kind of wishing it was over, that she had wrapped it up already. But like I said, I liked it. It was pretty good. That's all I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed this book review of The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo. If you did, give me a like and a subscribe. And if you didn't know already, I have another YouTube channel, Read Along with Aunt Ninny, where I read children's books, and I'll leave a link for that in the description box below. That's all I have for today, friends. I'll see you. Hey guys, so I've decided to give away my copy of The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo. So, once I reach 100 subscribers, then I will be doing a drawing to give away my copy. So, how to enter? Like this video, subscribe, and then comment below that you did both of those things. And once I reach 100 subscribers, then I will do a drawing for someone to win my copy. Alright, thanks guys.